Hello, my beautiful friends. I am Laurel Bleadon-Maffei with Illuminating Souls, welcoming you to this episode of Sleepy Bedtime Blessings, a podcast designed to help you rest, relax, and fall asleep, all while deepening in your connection with your beautiful team of angels who love you so. If we're meeting for the first time, I am an angelic practitioner, a spiritual teacher, and an encourager of souls. And I do this through one-on-one angel sessions, soul mentoring, and a variety of classes designed to inspire your spirit. And you can learn more at my website, illuminatingsouls.com. And just in case you can hear it, there is birdsong in the background. As I record this, it is early morning, and there is a bird in our neighborhood who sings every morning and every evening. It is so sweet to hear their song, and there is simply no way to record this without some of its music making its way into this episode. So just receive this as beautiful ambiance, allowing the love of Mother Nature to meet you where you are. And just take a nice deep breath in, allowing the love of your angels to flow to you now. So this podcast is a blend of two of my favorite forms of self-care: connecting with the angels and listening to a sleep podcast every night when I crawl into bed. And although I designed this as a sleep podcast, I know many of you listen in your waking hours, and however you choose to participate in this podcast, you have my gratitude and my blessings. So in this moment, I am feeling waves of calm, reassurance, and soothing, healing light flowing through from the angels. At the moment of this recording, we are in Mercury retrograde. We are in eclipse season. There seems to be an awful lot happening astrologically. And I'm not an astrologer, so I am not the best person to address this, but I can share with you how I'm experiencing these energies. It feels like inspiration is flowing, but I have very little desire to move forward, which is a very retrograde experience. I feel like I am craving stillness. And I feel like I'm craving deep rest. I know that is something I often describe. Hold on. There is a neighborhood dog who's getting into the action, and while I'm happy to affirm that birdsong is lovely ambient music for a podcast, I don't know that barking dogs fit, but I think they have stopped, so I will continue. So what I was going to say is, I know it sounds very familiar to share with you that I feel like I'm craving stillness, because often that is the case. It just feels a bit deeper right now. And so if you are feeling that you need time to hibernate, to rest, to maybe lift your feet up off the planet for a little while, you're in good company. And so my intention for our time together is to help cultivate this beautiful, soothing sanctuary for you. And then we'll go to story time a little bit later. So time with the angels, and then also a sweet narrative to keep you company as you drift off to sleep. So I invite you to take a nice deep breath in and release, allowing this love to flow to your body and your mind and your spirit. And I'm going to invite the angels in to join us. I love sharing this ritual with you. So let's take another beautiful breath in as we gently call ourselves forward into the heart of God. And beautiful angels on high, I invite you to join us here. And I ask that you infuse this broadcast with waves of love, waves of healing, with blessings of ease and divine inspiration for each of our beloveds listening to this broadcast. And dear ones, just take some nice deep breaths in and imagine, if you will, that your angels are with you now, because they are. And the space that you are in is filling with a soft pink light that is filled with love for you. And in this episode, I'm guided to share with you a sweet meditation. So just imagine, if you will, allow it to be so, that your angels are transporting you to a sacred garden that resides in the angelic realm. So the angels are helping to ascend your energy, allowing yourself to grow lighter and lighter. And then you are here in a beautiful sacred garden that has been created just for you. There are beautiful blooms of flowers everywhere you look. And you are standing upon a pathway. And as you look up, you see a bright blue sky. And you can feel the love all around you. This garden resonates with the vibration of divine home. And as you walk upon the path, you take in the beautiful flowers and plants that surround you. Up ahead, you see beautiful trees lining your path. And you begin to walk towards them. And as you do, you marvel at how their branches and leaves create a canopy to this garden cathedral you are in. And you notice how the light dapples in through the branches of green, and you can feel the wisdom of the trees greeting you. They say, "Welcome, traveler. We are grateful you are here." The trees are here to share with you their wisdom and their life force. And as you walk down the path in this garden, the trees share with you their healing energy. And this energy helps to calm your nervous system. And you find it easier to breathe deeply. And the trees invite you to touch the trunks of their bases, to feel the texture of their leaves. And you continue walking down this path because with each step you feel more balanced in who you are. You are a divine being having a human experience. You are a beautiful being of light in a human body, but your spirit is mighty. And you find that you can breathe deeply in this garden. And so you continue walking and you notice an archway up ahead. It is lined with beautiful wisteria. And then there is a bright light on the other side of it. And you're curious about what lies ahead. And you feel the invitation that says, "This way, come this way. There is love here for you." And so you walk ahead and you walk underneath the canopy of the beautiful blooms. As you do, it clears your energy field even more. And then you come into this beautiful, bright light. And you notice a beautiful being waiting to greet you. This is one of your beloved angels, and they have been waiting for you. They greet you with love, and they embrace you. This angel, they know what is happening in your life on earth, and they are here to help you find balance and healing, and most of all, to connect with the love that is here for you. You have entered a sacred healing alcove in this garden. And there is a healing bed that has been prepared for you. It looks wonderfully comfortable to you. And your angel invites you to climb upon the bed. And as you do, they cover you in a soft blanket. And they invite you to close your eyes and receive the healing light. And your angel begins to say blessings and prayers over you. They are helping to clear from you anything that is not yours. And they are deepening your connection with divine source. And you feel yourself growing lighter and lighter as you experience a deepening in your connection with the divine. And just breathe and receive. The angel is bringing to you cleansing, clearing energy. They're doing a special healing upon your heart chakra, helping to bring love and compassion to any grief or upheaval you have been experiencing. And just breathe and receive this love that flows your way. And now the angel is focusing on your throat chakra, helping to clear the way so that it is easier for you to connect with your divine voice, your authentic voice. They are here to help you remember that you are a messenger. You are a bringer of light. You are an emissary of love. And your heart chakra and your voice are two of your main instruments for sharing the blessing of your essence here in this world. So just breathe and receive. And allow this light to be present with you now. And the energy of this garden will stay with you as you rest. And your angel will help integrate these energies into your physical body, building a bridge for you between the angelic realm and the earth plane, so that it is easier for you to connect with your angels in your waking world. There is so much love here for you, and they are grateful for this opportunity to support you and help you remember who you are. You are precious in this universe. And this world is better because you are here. So you breathe and receive and rest and your angels will stay with you. They will continue infusing you with this beautiful light, and they will help you integrate it into your physical form so that the next time you awaken from a sleep cycle, this love will be more accessible to you, with the intention that it will make it easier for you to feel an authentic lightness of spirit. So you drift off whenever you are ready, and your angels will be with you. And while you rest, I'm going to share with you some stories and read to you for a while. So for story time in this episode, I thought I would read to you about the creation of Griffith Park in Los Angeles. So Griffith Park was bequeathed to the city by Colonel Griffith J. Griffith. And the article I'm going to read to you was published in a magazine called The West Coast in 1913. And usually when I read these articles to you, especially if it's about Los Angeles or something that I have experienced, I like to share with you some snippets from my own life. But you know what? I don't necessarily have much to share personally with you about Griffith Park, even though I lived in Los Angeles for 25 years. I've been to Griffith Park a few times. The one memory that I can easily access, which isn't incredibly dynamic to share, is when I went there in the wee hours of the morning with some friends in the hopes of seeing an eclipse, which we wound up not being able to see because of cloud cover. So that was a bust. And the reality is, I didn't really go to Griffith Park because of traffic, which sounds a little crazy unless you've spent any time in Los Angeles. To get to Griffith Park from where I lived, it's not that it was that far away, but it was really far away when you factor in traffic. There was just no easy way for me to get from where I lived to Griffith Park, because Griffith Park is in the Hollywood Hills, and traffic just was not my friend for trying to get there, and usually I was much more inclined to head over to the west side or to the beach. But nevertheless, Griffith Park is an amazing legacy that speaks to Colonel Griffith's vision for the city. And so I thought I would share with you this article. The headline says, "Greatest City Park in the World," which perhaps was true in 1913. I don't know, but that's what the headline says. The greatest city park in the world, not only in area, but the greatest in every other essential respect, is Griffith Park, Los Angeles. It is more than a park. It is a princely domain, worth a king's ransom were it back in the hands of its former private owner, who gave it out of hand as a free gift to the people. A man who does not regret his gift and who would not recall it if he could. The man who made a gift of this principality to his fellow men for their enjoyment until time shall be no more, is Colonel Griffith J. Griffith, a Pennsylvanian by education, but for many years a California by adoption, residence, and inclination. The motive that inspired Colonel Griffith to present to the people this magnificent domain in the heart of the most valuable section of the earth's surface can be no more eloquently told than in his own words. When on December 16, 1896, Colonel Griffith donated the park to the city, he addressed the following remarkable communication to the municipal authorities. And this is what he said. To the Mayor and City Council of Los Angeles, in the course of 23 years of active business life in California, I have become proudly attached to our beautiful city of Los Angeles, which, through its natural advantages and its matchless climate averaging 300 sunny days in the year, is destined to soon become a great metropolis. The arduous work of these years has been rewarded with fair success, and recognizing the duty which one who has acquired some little wealth owes to the community in which he has prospered, and desiring to aid the advancement and happiness of the city that has been so long and always will be my home, I am impelled to make an offer, the acceptance of which by yourselves acting for the people, I believe will be a source of enjoyment and pride to my fellows and add charm to our beloved city. Realizing that public parks are the most desirable features of all cities which have them, and that they lend an attractiveness and beauty that no other adjunct can, I hereby propose to present to the city of Los Angeles as a Christmas gift a public park of about 3,000 acres of land in one body, situated a fraction of a mile north of the northern city line, including fully 2.5 miles of the frostless foothills bordering on the Cahuenga Valley, 5 miles of the Los Angeles River bottom, the lands generally known as the Ostrich Farm, and the beautiful little valley, which was known as the Press Colony site. Also with these lands, the improvements thereon, consisting of several buildings and a water plant with tunnels and piping, the original cost of these having been over $10,000, and all of which will be of service and benefit in improving the park. The park will include over 2,000 acres of tillable land and some of the most romantic scenery of any park in the world. Not only will it be the largest city park in the world, but its diversity of picturesque valley, hill, river, and mountain, with its many varieties of trees and rich undergrowth, render it susceptible of being cultivated into the most beautiful of parks. I will deed this land to the city as soon as the city engineer has established the lines satisfactorily, but in making this donation I would like to impose the condition, if after consideration it appears that it may be legally done, that no railroad to this park be charted, with the right to charge a larger fare than 5 cents. I wish to impose this condition to ensure this fare, so that this park shall be in every sense the people's recreation grounds, and transportation to be kept within the most modest means. I wish to make this gift while I am still in the full vigor of life, that I may enjoy with my neighbors its beauties and pleasures, and that I may bear with me when I cross the clouded river the pleasing knowledge of the fruition of a wish long dear to me. I trust that you will accept this gift for the people of Los Angeles, in the same spirit in which it is offered. Respectfully yours, Griffith J. Griffith. And I just have to say that all of these years later, over 100 years later, it still remains as a beautiful legacy to Los Angeles. It is the home of the Griffith Park Observatory, hiking trails. I believe there's a little zoo on the premises. I think part of the land was used for the Greek theater. I don't know, that would be a whole other episode in terms of what happened to this gift, but I know that much of it was left intact. But we'll go ahead and continue with the article. So that was his letter or his speech to the Council of Los Angeles and the mayor back in 1898, and now we continue with the article from 1913. As might well be supposed, the city accepted this munificent and princely gift with alacrity. The citizenship of Los Angeles 17 years ago was composed, as it is today, of people alive to opportunity and eager for the glory and good of their town and community. When the gift was announced in the newspapers, a thrill went through the whole city. And as time passed, the city gradually began to improve the park with recreation nooks and with good roads. Today, the park is not on the outskirts of the city, but one might almost say within its very heart, and it is visited by thousands of happy people on outdoor pleasures bent. The blessing that the donor foresaw his gift would bring about has been amply realized already, but the days to come will make this more emphatic. Lately, Los Angeles took on a new and most energetic spurt in improving and elaborating the possibilities of Griffith Park, adding a great zoo in which wild animals roam almost at large, yet always in captivity and easily in view of visitors. A railroad with a 5-cent fare, foreordained by Colonel Griffith, is about due, and the great park is coming into the realization of the uses for which the man who gave it to the people dreamed. Seeing all of this, and not to be outdone by the municipality, Colonel Griffith last year announced another Griffith Park Christmas present to the people of his beloved city. a $100,000 observatory fully equipped to be located on Mount Hollywood, the towering mountain peak which commands the park and a view of 40 cities in Southern California with vistas of the great sunlit sweep of the Pacific Ocean. Again, the writer of this article feels his own inadequacy to express the full meaning of such magnificence, and falls back on Colonel Griffith's own words in the conveyance of the second gift to the people. Moreover, the reader will be more thoroughly benefited by reading the motives which influence this man who has suffered his share of sorrow, yet who remains still sunny at heart and generous as of old. In offering the gift of the observatory, Colonel Griffith conveyed to the mayor and city council a profoundly interesting and most remarkable message. His words were as follows: "Sometimes I ask myself, what have I done to perpetuate the prosperity of my city to posterity? I feel that it is my duty as a good citizen to contribute to the utmost of my means and powers to the common good, to lift myself above selfishness, to render service as well as accept it. The founders of this republic ensured our safety at a price bitter with privation and daring and death. They counted no sacrifice too great for their descendants, and it is as much the duty of every one of us today to give of his time and his purse and his heart for the children who will come after us. With all our schools and colleges and universities, with journalism to send its voice across the continent to standardize aspirations, to make the earth a schoolroom, to police the highways for protection of life and property, with 100 million of better trained and better educated Americans from whom to pick and choose, with 100-fold as many men possessed of sufficient means to serve without sacrifice the material welfare of the many, we are not producing as many efficient citizens per year proportionately as the Republic brought forth in its infancy. We average more skill, more wit, more energy per head than any generation of any people, but too many of us are planning and scheming for private advantage and personal profit. Too many of us are sacrificing patriotism for profit. Too many of us are too concerned with ourselves, the interest table, the market reports, and our particular specialties to trouble about the community. Our ideas are far superior to our ideals. We must remember that our strength as individuals is only in proportion to our community strength, and that we can only really advance ourselves by advancing the interests of the people at large. Too many men have died for this country. What we need now are a few thousand more to live for it, to perpetuate its splendid promises, to fulfill the prophecy of its founders. Each year there is a greater necessity for those of us whose welfare has been fostered by the Republic to realize how great our responsibility toward our neighbors. No man is entitled to honor and respect for what he possesses, only for what he achieves. And it is my ambition to achieve as much as lies within my gifts and my resources for my city and for my fellows. I wish to pay my debt of duty to the community in which I have prospered and to help advance its interests. Here always shall be my home, and I consider it my obligation to help make Los Angeles a happier and cleaner and finer city, to which end I hereby propose to make another Christmas gift, a donation of $100,000 for a public observatory to be erected on the highest point of land in Los Angeles, Mount Hollywood, in Griffith Park, and to be fully equipped on or before the year of 1915, and pray its acceptance at your honorable hands. If it be a fact that all true knowledge comes from observation of nature, would not the contemplated observatory in conjunction with Griffith Park prove a lasting benefit to this community? I can conceive of no greater service than that which will inspire men in hopes and dreams. Ambition must have broad spaces and mighty distances. From this noble height one may behold the glories of the fairest land God gave to his children, and no man standing so near the stars, with illimitable fields and seas to challenge him to his utmost, can dare doubt or despair of future opportunities. I make this gift now that I may behold and enjoy the pleasure and progress of my neighbors, and live to see the partial fulfillment of my prayers for their betterment. My faith in Los Angeles has never wavered. I have loved my city, and my confidence in her dominance has been ever constant. I place no limit upon her splendid tomorrows, and I expect to live to see her population reach the 1 million mark, and ere then be able to donate at least another $1 million to the promotion of her interests and for the uplift of my less fortunate fellows. But it is not what I plan or what I do that will mean the most. It is my example that will benefit Los Angeles most. For I am sure that others who know under what trying circumstances I have struggled will be inspired by my ability to rise above my handicaps and environment. I believe that the 20th century has inaugurated a spirit of service. The world has begun to realize that he who renders service to his people attains the highest in achievement. The charity which feeds hungry people and houses weakens. The charity which feeds hungry people and houses the weakened is a fine and splendid thing, but at its best it is a crutch. We must go farther and aim higher. There is a greater philanthropy, and it is that which helps men to help themselves, which rouses their confidence and stirs them to endeavor and cheers their hearts to resolution and reliance. There is a chance for every American, but poverty and ignorance frequently cloud his vision. We must dispel doubt of self. We must encourage self-support and lift the masses to planes of broad intelligence. I have always held that the man who accumulates a fortune is the best judge in its disposition. I have always believed that with great wealth should be disposed of by him who earns it, and during his own lifetime. It is a false love that pauperizes ambition and dulls endeavor. The waste is the greatest menace of civilization, and many a man with great potentiality for good has been prostituted into a useless citizen by the inheritance of means. I will not, as others have done before me, will my money to be dissipated in amusement, or, as is too often the case, permit it to be wasted to the profit of judges and lawyers and selfish parasitical relatives. In 1882, I made a tour of the world. During my travels, I made a close study of social conditions. Returning home, I meditated on the joyless lives of the masses and found myself in perfect agreement with the late Professor Jevons in his theory that among the means to a higher civilization, I unhesitatingly declare that the deliberate cultivation of public amusement is a principal one. There can be no good work, no hard work without good play and the opportunity for hard play. Sunlight and air are the first requisites of sanity and health. Things that grow in the dark are unwholesome, and lives lived in dark tenements are abnormal. Public parks are a safety valve of the great cities and should be made accessible and attractive, where neither race, creed, nor color could be excluded. Crime and degeneracy can best be battled with by pleasure grounds. Every bit of open green means the closing of a den and a dance hall, and money wisely spent in parks for the people is the best investment that any community can make. There must be outlets for the herds in poor streets and gloomy alleys. Give nature a chance to do her good work, and nature will give every person a greater opportunity in health, strength, and mental power. Throughout America, all great cities have received donations from their far-seeing philanthropists. There are hundreds of citizens in Los Angeles who brought less wealth and profited far more through her marvelous and unprecedented growth than myself, and I am sure that they can be induced to exhibit a public spirit equal to that shown in any other municipality. I specifically refer to the example of San Francisco, located in our own state and similarly populated. The liberality of her wealthy citizens is a challenge to Los Angeles. Wherever one turns, there are beautiful fountains and splendid monuments. In Golden Gate Park, we find scores of attractions such as the Temple of Music, the Children's Playground, the waterfalls, the Memorial Gate, and many statues donated at a cost ranging from $5,000 to $60,000 each by private enterprises. Millions of dollars have been spent upon this beautiful recreation ground. Every San Franciscan points with pride to these evidences of public spiritedness. Ours is a rich city and a city of rich men. and I hold that it is the duty of every person of wealth to contribute liberally for the betterment of Los Angeles. I do not own an inch of ground adjoining Griffith Park except the reservation, my old home, and this is more than a mile distant from the contemplated improvement. I mention this fact now so that there can be no possible criticism of self-interest in my donation. My reservation is within the boundaries of Griffith Park solely because of the urgent solicitation of city officials who needed all the river frontage on account of litigation with the city water company. Mayor Rader at that time estimated that through my 5 miles of river frontage the city was able to secure an extra $1 million in the settlement of its suits. I wish to impose but one condition on this donation, that I shall have my own way in the disbursements of this and future donations, so that I may be able to fix the payments upon dates which will synchronize with the dates of my income, and that I may also enjoy the pleasure of superstructure according to the purposes intended. Faithfully, Griffith J. Griffith. This observatory, with all its scientific appliances, will be at the disposal of the people. Anyone can have the use of it. The poorest man or woman or the poorest child can look through its telescopes at sun and moon and stars. The boys and girls of the public schools or of any schools may make their own use of it. As though all these things were not enough, Colonel Griffith announced at a picnic held at the park a short time ago that he will soon begin the erection of a Greek theater in the park. The theater will be built in a little canyon which has probably the most marvelous acoustics of any natural spot on earth. When completed, an orator of even less voice ability than William J. Bryant, for instance, can speak to 200,000 people in this theater and be easily heard by every soul present. In a word, Griffith Park, that began as the greatest natural park owned by any city in the world, is now fast becoming the greatest improved city park in the world. But one thing must be remembered, the most important thing of all: Griffith Park will always be a natural park. It will always be, in its leading features, a wild park. Nature is not meant to be routed to give place to art. It will always be a place where the human soul can commune with nature itself. Where the bright river runs, the wild flowers and wild trees grow, where the wild birds sing, and where things are as God made them. It will always be a place the same as a place in the wilderness far from the haunts of man, yet it will be accessible on a trolley road at a cost of 5 cents for the fare. Wherefore, who is so bold as to say that the age of miracles has passed? The one thing that is pleasant above all other things in connection with Griffith Park is that the man who from the depths of his generous nature and his love for his fellow man has made all this possible, has also made it possible during his own lifetime. He is still alive, and in the vigor of life to enjoy his bounty in fully the same degree as you and I and all the rest of us who are the beneficiaries of his bounty may enjoy it. Not long ago, a party of picnickers in the park, not having the slightest idea who he was, invited Colonel Griffith to share their lunch with them under the trees. He accepted the invitation, romped about with the children, showed them the zoo and the river and the places where the wild grapes and the wild berries grow, and left them none the wiser as to his identity. It is in this way and in such ways that Colonel Griffith is reaping his reward while life is still his. A greater or a sweeter reward no man could have. Upon the dusty highways of the world there are statues in bronze and marble erected in memory of heroes departed. But Griffith J. Griffith will need no commemoration of that kind. His monument will be the principality that he gave his fellow man, as freely as though he gave only a leaf of a tree, and were he the owner of unbounded forests. The laughter of happy children in God's open woods, the glow of health in wearied faces, the blessings of tired mothers, the peace that passeth all understanding in the souls of men, these be the monuments that shall be uplifted through the centuries, to come to keep green the fame and to make immortal the name of Griffith J. Griffith. Wow, how is that for beautiful inspiration? And you know what? As the author of the article was talking about his fair share of tragedy, that Colonel Griffith had experienced his fair share, I didn't know much about his life. And I suppose I should have read the Wiki before sharing this article, because it's pretty crazy. So I guess it proves that no one is all good, and perhaps, hopefully, all bad, because the tragedy was that apparently he was a really dangerous drunk, and he shot his wife, who survived, but that there was a very famous trial and he went to jail for this. I didn't know any of that. Oh my God. Here I was like, oh my God, this man is so amazing. And he is. Listen, the fact that 120 years later, Griffith Park still exists and people are enjoying it is a phenomenal thing. But I just kind of gasped when I read this. What a life. Wow. Okay, well, you know what? We will let the powers that be in the heavenly realms sort out all that karma. But kind of shocking. And yet still Griffith Park exists, and for that I am grateful. So I'm still glad I read that article, because I think he had some beautiful ideals that are very inspiring. But that's just a crazy postscript. He wound up doing 2 years in San Quentin for assault with a deadly weapon. And it was instructed that he be given medical aid for his condition of alcoholic insanity. And then she was granted a divorce on the grounds of cruelty, I would say so, and was awarded custody of their son. Wow. And then he was released from prison in 1906 after serving 2 years. And then he began lecturing on prison reform. Wow, okay then. So, shadow and light all come together in the life of Colonel Griffith J. Griffith. But I guess the legacy is that millions of people every year have the opportunity to enjoy thousands of acres of Griffith Park, which easily would have been developed would it not have been for his gift. So, a little shadow and light as we drift off to sleep. So I'll leave you with the beauty of Griffith Park and not the dark side of Colonel Griffith. So take a breath in, and the angels will just bring in beautiful, soothing, calming, clearing energy for us all. And I send blessings to the humanness of his journey and those who were impacted by it as well. So, my beautiful friends, I'm going to take this as an invitation to spend some time in nature. And just listen to the wisdom of the trees and let the birds sing to me. Perhaps you will do the same. I love you so very, very much, and I am grateful for the gift of you. And I look forward to connecting with you again. Thank you.